Vanity of vanities, says the speaker. Vanity of vanities, all is vanity. What does man gain by all the toil at which he toils under the sun? A generation goes and a generation comes, but the earth remains forever. The sun rises and the sun goes down and hastens to the place where it rises again. The wind blows to the south and goes to the north. Around and around goes the wind, and on its circuits the wind returns. All streams run to the sea, but the sea is not full. To the place where the streams flow, there they flow again. All things are full of weariness, a man cannot utter it. The eye is not satisfied with seeing, nor the ear filled with hearing. What has been is what will be, and what has been done is what will be done. And there is nothing new under the sun. Is there a thing of which it is said, "See, this is new"? It has been already in the ages before us. There is no remembrance of former things, nor will there be any remembrance of latter things, yet to be among those who come after. I know those words are probably really difficult to wrap your head around, but they are very important. These are the words of the speaker, the son of David, King Solomon. And this comes from the book of Ecclesiastes, chapter 1, and there is not really any praise in these words, or joy, or peace. In fact, it's more like grim hopelessness when he says things like, all is vanity, which basically, in our terms means everything in life is meaningless. Or as he says, there's nothing new under the sun, which is, he's basically saying to us that there's nothing that we're going to find or discover that's going to give us any meaning. It's already all been discovered, and guess what? It's all meaningless. It kind of makes you wonder how a book like this has any business in the Bible, being in the Bible. And the reason for this book's existence is pretty simple and also pretty specific. To show the emptiness and the foolishness of a life lived without an eternal perspective. And of all the people of the Bible, God chose the perfect person to speak through whenever he chose, King Solomon. In case you didn't know, in 1 Kings chapter 3, God blesses Solomon with a wisdom unlike any other. And so if there was going to be a man who was wise enough to find meaning in the life on this earth, it was going to be Solomon. And there was something else about Solomon, is that he was a king. And so if there was going to be a man that had enough money and enough power to find meaning on this earth, it too was going to be King Solomon. But now I want you to rewind to about 4 years ago in my life. I was in my third year of college, and I was reading the book of Ecclesiastes for the first time. And as I was flipping through those pages, reading them one by one, the thought that stuck out the most was, man, I wish I had read this book sooner. Why didn't I read this book sooner? If only. Because throughout all my middle school years and all my high school years, I was consuming myself, chasing after things that ultimately proved to be meaningless. The goals that I had when I was in middle school and the goals that I had in high school, one, it didn't come true. And two, that wasn't what God wanted for me anyway. I'm in a totally different part of my life than I was thinking I was going to be in. I wanted to be just this really successful person, and I really wasn't thinking very much about how to love my neighbors. Just to, I guess, give you the quick overview. Anyways, safe to say that the reading the book of Ecclesiastes at that point in my life probably saved me from a lot more meaningless life lived. And you may not be, actually, you're definitely not the same age that I was when I first read the book of Ecclesiastes, but you may be having some of the same thoughts that I had. Thoughts like, I've got really big plans for myself and I'm going to be successful one day, whatever that means. and I'm going to matter one day. Or thoughts like, if I can just get to where that person is, or I can just accomplish this or be able to do that, then I know that I'll be fulfilled. My life will have meaning. Or maybe you even have thoughts of like, man, I believe God exists, but for me, God doesn't really matter. The fact that he exists doesn't really matter. Or you could even be having a thought like this one. There's nothing that God can give me that I just can't give myself if I work hard enough, or, I'll get it my own way. These are the thoughts that you have when you are trying to find meaning, as Solomon describes, under the sun, which just means like you're trying to find meaning in the world around you. And as we go through this book of Ecclesiastes, you'll see Solomon use all of his wisdom, all of his money, and all of his power to try to find that one thing, meaning in life. And you know what he finds? He finds success and accomplishment. He finds hard work. He finds all kinds of projects. He finds pleasure and indulgence. He finds friendship, camaraderie, love, all that life has to offer. He finds it. And you know what he finds it all to be? Meaningless. His conclusion, after dedicating so much of his life, all of that wisdom, that money, that power that he had to find meaning on this earth, he concludes with, all is vanity, a chasing after the wind. Only God gives meaning.